All right, welcome back, everyone. This is it. This is the last lesson, the last video you will have to watch, and last time you're gonna have to listen to me on one of these things. So you've survived it. Just to make sure everyone's on track for this last lesson, you have a few assignments to wrap up in Math Lab. You have a quiz to take tomorrow, and then I've already posted the study guide, and you'll take your final next week, and then that will be it. Hopefully you responded to in the announcements, I put up a link to a form. If you filled out the form, letting me know whether you want a letter grade posted or a pass-fail grade posted. If you don't respond to that, I'm just going to post a letter grade for you. So some of you have emailed me, but I just need it in the form so that I have it all, saved in one spot. But all right, here it is, guys. Let's get started with this last lesson. We're talking about mortgages. So if you didn't know, which I'm sure a lot of you do, a mortgage is just a fancy name for a home loan. Okay, a mortgage is a home loan. And basically what happens is the home is used as collateral. So what does that mean? It means the bank, okay, if you're going to take out a loan for a home, you're going to take out a substantial size loan. You're borrowing a lot of money from a bank. And in order for the bank to feel safe in loaning that type of money to a person, they take the home as collateral. They put their name on the title of the home. They basically own it until you finish paying it off. And what that means is if you don't make the payments on your loan, on your mortgage, the bank can come and repossess the house so that they don't really lose anything by loaning you the money, right? If they don't get their money back from you, then they take the home, and either way they're square, okay? So mortgage is your home loan, and the bank that loans you the money for the home basically owns your home until you finish paying it off. Typically, you're required to make a down payment. Typically, you make a down payment, and that's basically just going to be a percentage of the cost of the home, anywhere from, 5% to 50%. I think 20 is a pretty standard down payment, 20%, and it kind of depends on how the market is. If maybe 15 years ago, they were doing all these first-time homeowner incentives and not requiring a down payment. But traditionally, a 20% down payment is required before you're approved for a loan. So you got to save up quite a bit of money if you want to buy a house. Now, if you sign what's called a conventional loan has a fixed rate for the entire loan. So if you get a conventional loan at right now, rates are around 3.25%. Then you'd have that 3.25% for the life of the loan. If you get an adjustable rate mortgage, then your rate could vary every time, or for certain time periods, depends on what the terms of the loan are. That could be a scary thing, an adjustable rate. I think sometimes people take an adjustable rate mortgage to try to lower what the rate is at the current time and don't really think ahead of time. That's a dangerous thing when your rate isn't fixed. But the conventionals is, I don't know, I would recommend that, I guess, depending on what the current rates are, but right now rates are really good. The final step in your home buying process is called the closing process. And sometimes during that closing process, you're required to pay points. And points are basically interest that are prepaid to the buyer, and you try to pay the points to reduce the interest rate that the lender is going to charge. But basically 1 point is equal to 1%. Let me write percent and percent twice. It's basically equal to 1% of the loan of the mortgage. Okay, and then we have this nice fancy formula here that we could use to try to calculate a prospective monthly payment if we knew how much we were trying to borrow and what the interest rate was going to be and how many years we were taking out the loan. So our monthly payment is going to be equal to M times R over N. M in that formula is the mortgage amount, how much are you borrowing. R, we know, is the rate. And N, unlike in our compound interest formula, in our annuity formula, isn't the number of times interest is compounded. That doesn't really apply in this situation. N is the number of payments that you make per year, which generally you pay your mortgage every month, so you make 12 per year. And then T is going to be our time in years, okay? So let's look at an example. We have Patty and Marshall, and they want to purchase a house that sells for $249,000. It's probably a I don't know, pretty typical price. They plan to obtain a loan from their bank. The bank requires a 15% down payment and a payment of 2 points payable to the bank at the time of closing. So the first thing we have to do is figure out their down payment. So their down payment is 15%. So they have a 15% down payment. And that means we have to figure out what is 15% of 249,000. So what is 15% of 249,000 is the question here, okay? So remember, if we were to translate this, what we don't know, we can call x is an equal sign. 15% is converted to a decimal or a fraction. So I can make it a decimal of, a fraction of 15 over 100, or a decimal of 0.15. Of means multiply, and then 249,000. So we're literally just going to multiply the 15%, which is 15 over 100, by 249,000. So that means our down payment is $37,350. $37,350. That's how much this couple has to save and pay in order to be approved for this loan. And it's pretty standard, 15-20% that banks are requiring for you to come out of pocket. It's a lot of money that you have to save if you have to make a down payment, okay? So B, we're trying to determine the amount of the mortgage. The mortgage, remember, is the loan. So the house costs $249,000, but they're going to put down $37,350 of it. So they don't have to borrow all $249,000. So to figure out the amount of the mortgage amount is the cost minus the down payment. So the cost minus the down payment. How much are they actually borrowing is what we're trying to figure out here. So it costs $249,000, but they're going to put down $37,350. So they're going to have to mortgage the rest. They're going to have to borrow the rest. So $249,000 minus the $37,350 down payment means they're going to mortgage $211,650. So $211,650. Okay. Now, not only are they going to have to make that down payment, this bank has said they're going to have to pay 2 points in the closing process. 2 points is 2%. Okay, the 2 points is 2% of the mortgage. Let me see. I guess I should have specified in there, but the 2 points, it could be off the selling price of the house. It could be off the mortgage amount. Usually it's going to be stated. I should have stated here 2 points paid on their, I did state it, on their mortgage. If it's stated they're going to have to pay 2 points on the price of the home, then you would take the 2% of the $249, but this is 2% of the mortgage. So what is 2% of the mortgage? What is 2% of 211,650 is what we're trying to find here. So again, translating that, we have what we don't know is equal sign 2%, is 2 out of 100, or 0.02, of means multiply by the mortgage amount, $211,650. So we're going to go to the calculator, and 2 out of 100 times the $211,650 is $4,233. $4,233. So not only do they have to come up with $37,000 for a down payment, they're going to have to come up with another $4,000 to pay at points at the time of closing. So when they actually sign for this house. Okay, so suppose they want, or maybe they qualify for a 30-year mortgage with a 7% interest rate. Let's try to calculate what their monthly mortgage payment's going to be. So the monthly payment, based on the formula we had above, is going to be equal to the mortgage amount, that's $211,650, multiplied by R over N. So the rate is 7%, that's 7.07. I don't want to make two fractions in here. 7 out of 100 is 0.07. And then N is how many payments are you to make. Remember, N was the number of payments per year. So we're going to be paying every month. That's 12 times per year. And then on the bottom, we have, let's see, 1 minus 1 plus R over N. So 0.07 over 12. That is raised to the negative NT power. So a negative N would be a negative 12 times T times 30 years power. Okay, so it looks ugly, but there it is. And now it's just a calculator problem. So use the divide button to make a fraction. 211, 650, multiplied by R over N, that's 0.7 over 12. On the bottom, 1 minus parenthesis 1 plus R over N again. And then before, let's see, we're going to close the first parenthesis, raise that to the, in parentheses again, negative 12 times 30. Close that one, get out of there, close that one. Okay, so $1,408.11. $1,408.11. And that's pretty good. Yeah, that sounds, I mean, I don't know if that sounds good to you, but that sounds reasonable to me. I know how much I'm mortgaged, and I know how much I pay on that mortgage every month, so I think that sounds about right. And that's with a 15% down payment. Now, let me go back just a second. A 20% down payment is usually, or it's a pretty typical down payment, because if you put down 20% on the house, then you don't have to pay what's called PMI's, property mortgage insurance. If you put down less than 20%, then you have another property mortgage insurance that is an amount that gets added to the amount you have to pay. So not only would you have to pay that $1,408, but there'd be some other property mortgage insurance that would be added, so your payment goes up a little bit. It's just because the bank has a little less faith in you when you don't put 20% down. It's like you don't have your own skin in the game, if that makes any sense. Okay, but nothing we have to worry about here. We're just sort of scratching the surface with some of these things, okay? All right, let's look at continuation of Patty and Marshall. They saved for many years. They finally purchased the home. They made their 15% down payment. They got their 30-year conventional mortgage at 7%. They paid their 2 points at closing. And now we're going to figure out the total amount of money they will pay for the house over the 30 years. What is the total amount of money they will have spent to buy that house, okay? So we calculated they were paying a $37,350 down payment. So they made a down payment, plus they paid points, right? They made a down payment, they paid the points, and then they're making monthly payments for 30 years. That's all the money they're spending, all right? Their down payment, make this a little bigger, sorry, their down payment, their points, and their monthly payments. So the down payment was $211,650. Can't remember. Yep. The points were $4,233. $4,233 plus their monthly payment was $1,408.11. $1,408.11. And how many times did they make that payment? Well, they made it every month for 30 years. So 12 months a year times 30 years means they made that payment 360 times. So we'd have to multiply this by 360. So all together, how much are they spending? So 211,650. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? That is how much they mortgaged here. Goodness. Glad I caught that. They did not put down 211,650. That's how much they borrowed. They put down 37,350. Oh my gosh, guys, sorry. 37,350. They paid their points. They made their payments. So all together, let's try this again. $37,350 down plus $4,233 in points plus they made payments of 360 payments of $1,408.11. All together, make sure I did it right. A lot of money. $548,408 $502.60. That's a lot of money. Now, remember, the house only cost $249,000. So how much are they paying in interest? Okay, how much interest are they paying? Well, oh my gosh. The interest really only factors into the monthly payments, right? So the monthly payment portion of this, the monthly payments, let's figure out just that portion of it. The 1408 11 times 360 is 506,919.60. 506,919.60. That's how much they that's the part they were paying interest on. So you're not paying any interest on your down payment. You're not paying interest on the points. What you're paying interest on is the loan, right? That's where the monthly payments are. So those monthly payments amounted to $506,919.60, but they only mortgaged the $211,650. Check my numbers here. Yep. And so the difference is what they're spending in interest. And let's see. Let's take away the 211,650. That's $295,269.60 in interest. Okay, that's a lot of money. That amount that you pay in interest is more than the amount of the house. So not only are they, spending that $249,000 in the house with all those payments, they end up spending more than that, almost, more than double in just because of the interest. And so this will, there's lots of ways to think about this. I mean, sometimes it encourages people to take a shorter loan. If you didn't take out a 30-year loan, let's say you took out a 15-year loan, you're going to cut off a lot of that interest, but it also makes your monthly payment a little bit higher, and we'll see that in a few minutes with another example. Okay, it's a lot of money in interest. All right, let's look at another example. In this next example, we're going to see the difference between the two types of loans. So the Diaz family is purchasing a house for $178,000, and they're going to make a 20% down payment. They're going to finance the balance with a conventional mortgage with a 4% interest rate. So how much is their down payment? It says they're going to put a 20% down payment. So we want to know what is 20% of the $178,000 that they're trying to pay for the house. So what is 20% of 178,000? Let's see. 20 over 100 multiplied by 178,000 is $35,600. So $35,600 down. Okay, so how much are they going to borrow? Well, the house costs $178,000, but they're going to put down $35,600. They're going to borrow the rest. So we take the cost of the house, we subtract the down payment. So we have $178,000 minus the $35,600 down means they're going to mortgage the rest. So we have 178 minus that, so 142,400 is the difference. 142,400 is how much they are mortgaging. That is how much they are borrowing. All right, so now we're going to try to calculate the payment if they took a 15-year loan. So on a 15-year loan, their monthly payment, is going to be, the mortgage would be 142,400 R over N. The rate was 4%. Right, that's up here, 4% interest rate. So 0.04 over N was how many payments they're going to make every year. Well, they're going to make one every month, so 12 times a year. And then on the bottom, it was 1 minus, 1 plus, R over N again. and then we raise that to the negative nt power. So a negative n is still 12, time was this time 15 years power. And then we're going to stick that into the calculator. So 142.4 times 0.04 over 12. And then on the bottom, 1 minus 1 plus 0.04 over 12 again. Close that, raise it to the, in parentheses, negative 12 times 15. Close that off and that off. Okay, so their mortgage payment is going to be $1,053.32. $1,053.32. Okay, maybe manageable. That's for a 15-year loan. If it's a 30-year loan, then most of this formula is going to be the same. They're still borrowing $142,400, same rate, still paying 12 times a year. 1 minus 1 plus, this is still the same. The only thing that's going to change is this 12 times t. The only part of the formula affected by time is where the t is, and this time it changes to a 30. So this should be pretty easy then using Desmos. I'm going to go back to what I already typed in and just change that 15 to a 30. And now the payment is significantly cheaper, $679.84. So $679.84. So a lot of people will spread it out over a longer period of time because you can bring your monthly payment down, but you're going to see a big jump in interest. So how much money do they save if they take the 15-year loan? Monthly is not savings, but big picture is going to be savings. So let's look at the 15-year loan. For the 15-year loan, they're going to make 300, not 360. For the 15-year loan, how many payments are they going to make? Well, for 15 years, 12 months a year, that's going to be 15 times 12. Oh, it's half. It's 180. Don't need a calculator for that. That's 180 payments. Okay, so they're going to pay $1,053.32 180 times. Good grief. 180 times. That's a total of, let's see, 1,053.32, 180 times. That's a total of $189,597.60. And remember, that was only for a $142,400 mortgage. So if I subtract out the $142,400 mortgage, then I can figure out the interest. So minus 142,400, that's $47,197.60 in interest. There's still a lot of interest, but what you're going to see is if we look at the pink one, it's going to be worse. Okay, let me move this over, give myself a little more space. All right, so now on the pink one, the 30-year mortgage, the 30-year loan, they're making 30 payments, 30-year payments, 12 months a year times 30 years, they're making 360 payments, which we saw that a few minutes ago anyway. So they're paying, in this one, $679.84, 360 times. So if they pay $679.84, they pay that 360 times every month for 30 years. They're going to be spending $244,742.40. But remember, they only borrowed $142,400. So the difference is how much they spend in interest. So if I subtract out the 142,400, then this option, even though the monthly payment was cheaper, they're going to spend $102,342.40 in interest. Okay, so These are things that you would have to weigh out when you go to sign for a mortgage. If you can afford a more expensive payment, like the $1,053, you're going to save yourself a lot of money in interest. In this case, how much money are we saving versus taking the 30-year loan? Well, if it was, let's see, $102,342, $342.40 here, minus it was $47,197.60 there, that's a difference of $55,000. If we subtract, let me see, I could get another color in here. 102,342.40 minus 47,197.60. That's $55,144.80 in savings. Okay, so again, if you can afford the higher monthly payment, you save yourself $55,000 in interest. Now, if you can't afford the higher monthly payment, the $679 is more reasonable for you. You're just strapped with a loan for twice as long, and you pay $55,000 more in interest. So it comes down to what's better for you. Is it better to have the monthly savings, or is it better to have the big picture savings? So yeah, and what you can afford, right? Some people just won't be able to afford making that kind of payment. Oh my, what am I trying to do? I don't know. I want to try to move this over, but I don't know if I can capture it. You're watching me struggle for the last time. Okay, the last time. All right, so there it is. Again, this is really just scratching the surface of mortgages, but really you should know that this is a big commitment. If you don't already have a mortgage, when you go to sign for one, it is a big commitment, and you really got to consider how much money you got to put down, how much you're going to be spending in interest, how much you can afford per month, what